Hello, y'all. So, y'all liked the paperwork trick video that I just did. So, Daniel recommended that I talk more about it. So, the paperwork trick, I will go more into detail on more information that will help you out. So, the paperwork trick, it is a trick, and it is a trick does not work in your best interest ever, 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 ever. It usually does not ever work in your best interest for anyone to trick you into filling out paperwork. So, for one, if someone that's a professional has to trick you into filling out certain paperwork, they're not doing it because they like you, care about you, or anything like that. So, what they're doing is they're tricking you because the paperwork, for one, benefits them. It benefits them for sure because what it does, believe it or not, many professionals have told us to meet y'all, whether they be the police department, legal professionals, medical professionals. If a medical professional, I'll use this as an example. If a medical professional can show that they got 15 documents for 15 patients a day to fill out, say, anxiety paperwork, um, behavior screenings and stuff like that. There's a lot of different screenings, screenings on where you're at, usually at a certain time a day and stuff like that. So, paperwork tricks, um, I did a short on it, so I will put this short down here in the description box. But because I got several likes for a short amount of time, that means y'all want to know more about it. So I'm going to cater to what you need to know. So the paperwork trick with me, y'all, I discuss passive aggressive language. And it's very beneficial to learn more about what passive aggressive language is. So, what I will do in certain circumstances, oh, thank you so much for subscribing. Um, who this is. See, God's greatest. Hits one last. Thank you so much for subscribing. God's greatest hits one last. Hello to you and welcome to the channel. I appreciate you for subscribing. So, this video will be very important because it happens more than you think. So, I called it the paperwork trick, and this actually has happened to me, y'all. It's happened to myself and my family. So, you want to keep this in mind. Anyone that's tricking you outside of a parent, say you got a sick child and there's a life-saving medication that they need and they're 3 years old. So the parent needs to trick the child to take the amoxicillin so their life can be saved. But of course, that's not a paperwork trick, right? So outside of an extreme situation, usually tricks are bad. And what's that old saying? Tricks are for kids. So the paperwork trick, it can be done in the legal field, medical field, and many other professional fields. Just basic data entry within banking institutions, but it's highly likely to be done in the legal field a lot and the medical field. Okay. And the paperwork trick will go like this. And it can happen in different ways. So, one way it can happen that I went over in the short that I just did is making you believe that you already filled it out for either themselves or someone else. So gaslighting you, okay? Another way the paperwork trick can be done is making you feel like if you don't fill it out or sign it right now, you're going to be in trouble for doing it. Okay? So that's the second way that they do it. The third way the paperwork trick can be done is by them being honest, by them saying, well, you didn't fill it out for me, but usually other people fill it out, making you feel like if you don't fill it out, you're not like everyone else. Or 4, it can be done like this. Number 4, you refuse to fill it out, but because you refuse or say you're not comfortable with it, that's when they let you know, well, by the way, everybody else done filled it out. What's the problem? So this is 4 ways that the paperwork trick can be done. And the paperwork trick is usually done because they're only thinking about their job. They're not willing to maintain their job with respecting the rights of others. Okay? So they're staying in their position by showing what they're getting done. They're trying to make their job and themselves look better through showing a heavy paperwork trail. Like, look, all my clients filled this out for me. They like me so much. Now, to some supervisors, that can be a red flag. So, say I was someone's manager, I might see it as a red flag that they somehow got everybody to fill it out. It's kind of like when you're in property management. If nobody ever complains, that's a red flag. There should be people complaining about you when you're a property manager. And that's going to be the people that you're evicting. Any good owner knows this. If I got the right property manager, she or he is going to get complaints, and it's going to be from people that owner is telling you to put out. So when you start posting those pay or vacate notices, those people will begin to complain. Usually that's where the complaints will come from. She was rude to me when she gave me the notice, but you weren't rude. They just didn't like that they got the notice. Oh, thank you so much for asking, Afenshaw. This video is about the paperwork trick. The paperwork trick. How legal professionals, medical professionals, and other professionals lie to trick you to fill out certain paperwork that don't mean you well. And I gave 4 reasons of how they do it. One way is by telling you that you already are trying to convince you and gaslighting you by trying to convince you that you already filled it out for somebody else. So I need you to fill it out because you did it for them. Another way is if you refuse to fill it out, they say, well, why don't you want to fill it out? Everybody else did it. Or another way is just by telling you everyone else did it. Another way that they trick you into filling the paperwork out is by making you feel like you're going to get into some sort of trouble if you don't fill it out. Okay? So hopefully this makes sense. Thank you so much for the likes, y'all, and thank you so much for the subscribers. On this channel, I don't gossip and talk mess. If you listen to my videos, I give y'all life tactics and life hacks on how to survive in this real world. Okay, this ain't just we have fun on this channel, and I talk about narcissism and I talk about different things, but I also give you real life stuff that can happen to you that can actually get you in some serious trouble. Things that I went through, my family has went through. This just happened to me and my family 2 weeks ago. The paperwork trick. Okay. Now, I admit that I'm passive aggressive. Okay. It's okay to be passive aggressive. It's not a good idea to always be aggressive, especially when you're a lady or a man. You won't get the best result every time you want to stop someone from doing something. You aggressive. So how did I handle it? The paperwork trick. For one, I'm ready for the paperwork trick. I already had a witness there with me. Stop going in these meetings without anyone being present. You have a legal right to have a witness in most meetings. You do. So for one, I'm already ready because I got a witness there. You never know when you're going to have to tell on these people. The paperwork trick. So there's underlying reasons it happens. Why would someone do the paperwork trick? For one, they're trying to get their needs met. Why wouldn't a professional just be honest and try to get you to fill it out the natural way by saying, could you please fill this out? It'll help me. You know, if I get 5 of these turned in by today, I'm gonna get $1 raise next week. Why don't they do it the honest and natural way? Because they're not an honest person. And too many people have already refused to fill it out. So now they're going to other tactics to try to get the paperwork filled out. It's a trick, and it's a trick that works against you. So the paperwork trick, this is how it benefits you. When they do it, for one, you can assess their character. So you got to do this, y'all. You want to assess their character as soon as they do it. So as soon as they do it, you got to say, oh, this is a liar. Ooh, I got to watch this bastard. This is a liar. 2, they don't respect me. Also, the paperwork trick can show that they feel that you're dominant and you're not really, it's kind of a catch-22. They doing the paperwork trick, so it appears on the surface that they feel like you're easily manipulated. But because they tried to trick you, number 3, it shows that maybe they see some confidence and dominance in you where they feel you not that easy to trick. That's why they tried the trick. Just trying the trick shows me that you think I'm a little smart. Because if you think I'm completely dumb, maybe you won't try to trick me. So that's number 3. Number 4, sometimes it's done because of race bias. You the black family, you the white family, you the Asian family. So they feel like under normal circumstances, you may not feel comfortable filling it out. So it could be a race bias. So, okay, because we're a black family, they want to trick us to fill it out. But maybe that same paperwork, they don't even ask the white family or the Chinese family to do it, or vice versa. It just depends. So the paperwork within itself can be race bias. So the way I live is like this. I don't be filling out stuff. I don't be signing stuff. So say I was a witness to a crime. I was just watching a video where this one young 15-year-old girl, she experienced what I call the interview trick, where during an interview by detectives, she lied because this 24-year-old woman that was at this apartment building they lived in lied. So there was some called the interview trick. That's a bad one too. The paperwork trick, the interview trick, they're all real bad. This 15-year-old girl is still in the penitentiary right now and will never get out. She's had a couple of appeals. Both her appeals have been denied. It all began because she lied. This 24-year-old lady told her to lie. And then the detectives, they did the interview trick and the paperwork trick on her. They did both. They did this to a 15-year-old girl. Very cruel detectives. This young girl, they denied her appeals, and the status of her case is this. I'll try to find this case and put it in the description box. I like to use real examples of the paperwork trick and interview tricks. I'll find it. It was a crime case that I watched within the last week. So this young girl experienced both the interview trick and the paperwork trick. And unless laws change within the state that she's in, if no laws change, this young girl or young lady now, she's going to die in the penitentiary and she'll never get out. She's been convicted of a murder she did not even commit. She wasn't even in the apartment, but this 24-year-old girl or lady, this 24-year-old lady told the 15-year-old girl to lie, probably because the 24-year-old lady did the murder. That's probably who killed the neighbor. The 24-year-old lady set the 15-year-old up because her parents weren't available and right there. And the detectives broke the law and interviewed the 15-year-old girl without her parents available. You got to teach your teenagers not to sign stuff unless you're present. Teach your teenagers that. If your child is 8 years old and above, anyone in your family, if they minimum 8 years old, you teach them right now to not sign stuff. Teach them about the interview trick. Teach them about the paperwork trick. Okay? They need to know about both. The interview trick is teach them do not interview with people without you being present. Teach this to your 8-year-olds and up. Remind them and teach them this tactic. Teach them about the interview trick. The interview trick is do not answer questions when I'm not available, my son or daughter or niece or nephew. Whether you adopted this child or whatever, teach them the same thing, even if you adopted the child. They need to know this at an early age. I subconsciously knew it and consciously knew it from an early age because my grandmother signed paperwork, and as a result, she ultimately lost her restaurant. And it had a lot to do with the documents that she signed and some of the agreements that she went into. But because I was raised in a business environment, I kind of know to be careful signing stuff. And nobody would have ever been allowed to interview me without my grandmother or someone in my family being present. I was raised like that as well. So I inherently know it, but nowadays you got to be more verbal with your family. Tell them this. I'm talking about 8 years old. You might want to start telling them this at 5, y'all. When they school age, 5 years old, minimum 8 years old, they need to know about the interview trick and the paperwork trick. And I'm going to find the video of that young lady. She's a young lady now, but she went into the penal system and jail and prison system at a very young age because of the paperwork trick. The detectives and the police did the paperwork trick on her and the interview trick. So it can lead to a lot of harm. So with me, of course, I'm more passive aggressive. And so what I like to do in situations, I don't want to be aggressive. So, when the paperwork trick was pulled, I had my family and a witness there. Okay. And also, the paperwork trick, they wanted myself and my family to fill it out. They wanted us to fill it out and validate it. So you must understand this. In situations, we'll use a legal situation. So I'll give you 2 examples. In a legal realm, In a legal situation, you got to ask yourself this: did a judge tell me to fill it out? If a judge has not said that that is mandated paperwork for you to fill out, and you have already been before a judge, these type of legal paperwork tricks or paperwork tricks that they do in the legal field, they will attempt to do it before court and after your court orders are in place. So with the paperwork trick, you got to ask yourself this: did the judge say you got to fill that out? If the judge didn't say that, don't fill it out. If it's not in your court order in a legal situation to fill it out, don't. Okay. Why you say you scared, Afenshaw? I'm getting ready to check the comments too. Okay, so I'm going to check the comments in just a second, y'all. Thank you for your patience. I will not ignore your comments. So in the medical realm, okay, you got to ask yourself this. They do this in medical offices too. It's going on a lot, especially if you are diagnosed with any anxiety, which I am. I'm diagnosed with what you call mild anxiety. It's my protection. So in the medical field, this is the trick. The trick is there's somehow, it's a way to kind of create more patients and have them coming in constantly, creating certain patients, like a mental patient. So this is my thing. In the medical field, mild anxiety, if you need to see a therapist or psychiatrist, you can do that. Try not to mix it, right? So you got to keep in mind when you're going to your primary care physician, they are not your psychiatrist, right? They are not your therapist. And also, I will not allow those therapists, because now they have therapists in primary care physician offices. I will not allow a therapist that's within my primary care physician office, because you want to keep your therapist separate from your medical. And this is why. You want to do this because you want to make sure that your medical conditions are actually considered valid. So you don't want them on the anxiety train, because when I'm going in there saying, hey, my back done went out again, you don't want them looking at your anxiety paperwork and this behavior anxiety paperwork and saying, oh, well, your anxiety is a little high. You sure your back is hurting? See, you're setting yourself up for a lot of gaslighting. So how do I handle these situations? This is how I do it. Aggressive for me. Sometimes I'm aggressive, which means I just bluntly in a kind way, overtly say, please do not bring me that paperwork anymore. Thank you very much. Or with the paperwork trick that I was in with the legal situation, these would have been considered legal documents. I had a witness there, and the professional gaslit me. She tried to trick me. She did the paperwork trick. She actually did the paperwork trick. And she used the trick of telling me that I had filled it out with another lady. Okay. So she told me that I filled it out with another lady, and she wanted me to fill it out for her. Now, what she was doing was, if she would have been able to gaslight me and trick me that I filled it out with another lady, well, oh, no problem, I'll fill it out with you. But this is a major advantage, y'all, and don't take this personal. Don't take this personal. Please don't take this personal. I'm not somebody that get high and drink all the time. See, this is the benefit of being sober, usually. because that trick she used might have would have worked on somebody that drink or somebody that is always doing what people ask. You got to get that part out of your personality too. Always feeling like because a professional asks you to do it, you need to do it. They not in control of you like that. And so my advantages in these situations is, for one, I have a good memory. I have a systematic, consistent system that I never break. That paperwork she gave me, I wouldn't fill out unless I had a stroke, y'all. That paperwork she was giving me to fill out, I would literally only fill that out. And the particular paperwork that she gave me, I would only fill it out if I was in a medical situation where I had dementia, a stroke, Alzheimer's, something that was relating to my brain. That paperwork was so inappropriate to be even involved in a legal field or in the legal realm. So that particular paperwork, I just wouldn't fill that out because it goes against my privacy. I would not fill it out. So having a system of doing things the same way in certain situations all the time protected me. And like I said, I had a witness available. So in those situations, I look at, am I in a situation where I have to continue or will be working with this person? Are we co-workers? What is the nature of the relationship? How long will I have to work with this legal professional? Do I have to work with them another 5 or 6 months? Will I only be around them another year? Is this my first and last time meeting with them? So what I do, I decide in my mind, I figure out how long I need to be involved with this person. So what I did was this. And of course, I'm passive aggressive. So it's a way of language that I will use to get people to stop. And I will put this video under my passive aggressive language playlist because I have a passive aggressive language playlist as well. So what I do, because I also have a witness available. So this person can't say I cussed them out or anything like that. So I'm already ahead of the game because I have a witness available. So when this particular lady and this professional lied, and she's aware that she's lying, understand the paperwork trick is a trick. So she is aware that she's lying to me. She knows when she says, well, you filled this out for another person, she knows that's a lie. And in some sense, she may not fully know if I filled it out for someone else or not. She's just throwing it out there, not caring. But she knows that she's lying because she also knows that she's unsure whether I filled it out for that person or not. She most likely have not even asked or talked to that other person about the paperwork. She just lied on a coworker, basically. She wanted this paperwork so bad, she was willing to lie on a coworker to get it done, just to say she got somebody to complete it. So what I did, I was calm. I listened to her. So what I do is I let the person complete the lie. And I knew it was a lie right off. So when she mentioned that I had filled it out for the other person, this was another issue. The other person that she was saying I filled it out for, I've never cooperated with that lady. One of the reasons I'm currently with this current professional is because we did not really cooperate or bow down or whatever you want to call it with the other lady. The other lady was transferred off the situation eventually because I didn't do none of what she said. I didn't fill out the paperwork. I completely devalued that other lady in court in front of a judge. So what happens is when this new professional told this lie that I had filled out this paperwork, she didn't really know the nature of the relationship I had with the lady she lying on. She has not talked to the other lady to know the nature of the relationship. Myself and the other lady, we ended up being friendly. We resolved our conflict. Not the one that's doing the paperwork trick. I'm talking about the one that she's saying I filled this paperwork out with. Myself and that lady was able to resolve our conflict. But I know I ain't filled out nothing for that lady. That other lady was so disrespectful at first, I didn't even show her true respect in front of a judge because she was doing so much wicked stuff inside of a courtroom. So I was even pointing out in front of judges what the other lady was doing. But of course, the new professional did not know that. So she lied on somebody that barely could get me to respect them in a court of law. She had to work for that respect. And like I said, myself and that other particular lady, we resolved it. We ended up being on very good terms. But I did have to earn my respect with her. I had to earn it, and I earned it. And I earned it through just presenting facts. That other lady constantly lied too. She would tell all kind of lies. And I would say, what is she talking about? I didn't tell her that. So that's how that was going. So with this paperwork trick, when this current individual said, you filled it out for the other lady, I let her finish. And I just politely told her, I never filled out that paperwork for the other lady. And she said, oh, okay. And we're not filling it out today. I didn't fill it out for the other lady, and I'm not filling that paperwork out. And I did this. I did this. I'm passive aggressive. I said, let me see it. You mind if I kind of glance at it? She said, no problem. Make sure you do that too. Make sure before you finalize your no, just glance at the paperwork. Look at the paperwork and see if it benefits you. And it shows that you're good natured and you're kind of polite. So you're basically, in that sense, saying no to the paperwork and not the person. So glance at it. If it's 6 pages long, 10 pages long, just flip through it. You already pretty much have made up your mind you're not going to fill it out, but just make sure you look through it and make sure page 10 ain't said, if you fill it out, you get $2,000 by 5 p.m. Make sure you check the paperwork, okay? And if it don't say by 5 p.m., you getting $2,000, and by the way, you never gonna have another legal interaction ever in the United States of America or wherever country you at. If it ain't saying that, don't fill it out. But it is a paperwork trick. It's a paperwork trick. And remember, I'm gonna find the video of the young girl that experienced some of both: the detective trick, the interview trick, the policing system trick, the court system trick, and ultimately the paperwork trick. She signed stuff as well. She did interviews and put her signature on things that she should not have. And it sounds like she was not trained not to sign stuff and not to do interviews. So you have to teach your family the paperwork trick. It's deadly to your life. It's very essential to your lifestyle to understand the paperwork trick. So in the case with the particular professional that I was in the meeting with that tried to do the paperwork trick upon me, I just told her I didn't fill that out for the other lady. I never filled that out. I said I never filled that out. So what that does is this. I didn't play it off like I was not aware. I basically showed her that I am aware. And so by me acknowledging the truth, I'm also being passive aggressive. And I'm basically saying in a passive aggressive way, don't do that anymore, ma'am. Don't do that anymore. You're also unleashing a immediate consequence that also will make the professional think before they act next time. So going forward, this particular legal professional, she has to think before she lies to me. I didn't call her a liar. You don't have to be aggressive. That's aggressive when you tell them they're lying. And a better way to tell somebody they're lying is to say, that's not true. If it's appropriate to be aggressive, say that is a lie. Each situation is different. But with the paperwork trick, they're not strong arming you. Normally, the police are not involved. It's just a meeting. So you don't want to be so extreme to make it where people don't want to work with you. But what you want to do is bring an immediate consequence. You want to unleash an immediate consequence to let the legal professional know not to do that to you no more. So this lady most likely will not do it again. And if she does it again, in my mind, she will be considered a complete narcissist. A complete one. Okay. So I just said I never filled out that paperwork for the other lady. That didn't happen. She said, oh, okay. And also I let her know that I'm not filling it out today, but I did glance at it. Make sure you just glance at it. Like I said, page 10 could be saying by 5 p.m. you get $2,000. You will never have another legal problem ever in this country that you live in. Make sure you read the last page and just flip through it. It's important to just glance at it. But like I said, with the paperwork trick, that particular paperwork, I don't fill out for anybody, whether it be a doctor's office, a legal professional. It's a total invasion of my family's privacy. And it's just something that they don't need. So what could that paperwork have done? What can the paperwork do? Especially if you fill it out and it's not, the answers are not working in your best interest. What the paperwork can do is get you back in a courtroom or get you in a courtroom just because you signed it. It can lead to legal consequences that work against you. It can put you in a situation where you're wasting more of your time. Some legal trick paperwork schemes, you're actually signing your insanity away. Be careful with that. You are signing your insanity away. You are saying that you're insane. You are saying that I am out of my mind. The paperwork could be asking you, by midnight, how many people do you think about killing? And how many people did you try to kill before midnight? And then you sign this crazy stuff. Okay, I thought about killing 15 people. 7 of them I went and looked for, and the other 7 I couldn't find them. So you have signed this paperwork And now you are locked up in the nearest mental institution and you are considered insane. Daniel did his science project, y'all, on expedition night, and I did those lives too. He did it on James Tilly Matthews. Okay, and so James Tilly Matthews, he spoke himself into a mental institution by telling potential things that were true. James Tilly Matthews was the first man. I learned this from Daniel as well, reminding me of who he was. I didn't realize I had heard of James Tilly Matthews, but I didn't know that he was the first man to be diagnosed with complete paranoid schizophrenia. I did not know that until Daniel did his science project. And I uploaded some lives on that as well. So in that case, they did a lot of, gaslighting, and he spoke himself into that mental institution because they wanted to basically shut him up, is what it sounded like. So there's a lot to that case, but the paperwork trick can lead you the same place that James Tilly Matthews ended up at, in an insane asylum. They got you some people call it the crazy house. And now since you signed it and you failed at the paperwork trick, now you somewhere where can't nobody visit you. You signed away your life. You told them that you're insane. Another paperwork trick that's done, I'm going to give you another way it's done too, where they just tell you to sign it. This is so you can get medical insurance. Just sign right there. And actually, you're signing your soul away, because the paperwork they telling you to sign, the reason they say you signing it was totally inaccurate. They telling you to sign it because you're going to get a new car. We're going to give you a new car by this weekend. But actually, the paperwork you're signing is actually saying that you committed a crime at their residence. Just sign right here. I need you to sign on the third line right there. Sign there, please. You need a pen? Here's a pen. They give you a pen and everything. You didn't just sign that you broke in their house, committed a crime at their house, and robbed a bank. Or you done signed that you owe them some money. But they tell you the paperwork trick in those instances, they're making you believe you're signing the paperwork for another reason. And this works on people that do not read things before they sign. I know someone that just went through that paperwork trick. Over the past 2 months, I know of a person that happened to. They just signed it, didn't read it. They were involved in the paperwork trick, and they didn't realize that they had been tricked until they got their paperwork to their residence. And then when they got their paperwork to their residence, someone else read it, but they've already signed it. It's too late. It's hard to rebuttal paperwork like that when you sign it first. You're supposed to read it first. You got to proofread everything you sign, or get like an advocate to read it for you. So the paperwork trick is real serious. It's very, very serious. Very, very serious. Because the time to dispute something, usually, or say it ain't true, is before you sign it. You will most likely win, or things will be in your favor if you notice it before you sign it. This paperwork trick is very, very serious. So let me check these comments here. So, okay, Athenshaw already explained what the video is about. Thank you so much for that chat and comment. So Athenshaw says that he's scared. It's like 4 a.m. in Pakistan. I'm alone and so scared. Um, so you heard of a horror story, Afin Shah. I'm sorry that you're alone and scared over in Pakistan. I'm really sorry about this. Um, so Afin Shah, the only thing I could say to make it less scary is just pray and hide and just calm down. Try to when you're scared and having anxiety and real tense about what's going on in Pakistan, just um just be real calm. Calmness is key. Try not to be getting nervous and don't start like screaming and hollering. When you're scared, another thing people do when they're scared, they start arguing with one another. So try to pay attention to your surroundings too when you're scared, and just kind of lay low and hide. You know, a lot of people, they survived the Rwandan genocide. There was the Rwandan genocide, and a lot of people, some people, not a lot, most people were murdered. Almost with a shoot, they say what, a million, over half a million. It was a lot of people that got murdered in the Rwandan genocide when President Bill Clinton was in office. He pulled all the troops out and brought the American troops back home, and just let the Tutsis and the other group just kill each other. He just got out of it. Bill Clinton didn't allow Americans to die over there in that. So Afenshaw says, bye, I have to go. It is very late night. Yeah, Afenshaw, may the Lord bless you. Have a good day to you too. I'm sorry that you're scared. You can come here anytime. So I really feel bad for you, Afenshaw. I wish I had the control to stop it, what's going on in Pakistan, but of course I have no control over what they're doing in Pakistan. But in these type of situations, I wish I could stop it. I really do. But so yeah, thank you so much for the comments. God's greatest, thank you so much for subscribing and leaving a comment. Yeah, but this the paperwork trick is very serious, and you are being tricked. And just remember, keep in mind when someone is telling you, that's a red flag. When they're saying, can you fill this out for me? You filled it out for someone else. That's a red flag. Why they got to mention someone else that you filled it out for? Now, if it's something you filled out before and you forgot, and they're reminding you that you normally fill this out, that's not a trick. If you've really filled it out before. But just the fact, most people don't have to usually tell you filled it out before. It's the paperwork trick. And it can be used in any profession, but it is especially used in corporate America, the legal field, the criminal justice system, the medical field, any situation that involves your freedom, you could be subjected to the paperwork trick. The paperwork trick benefits the person that's asking you to fill it out. It's a systematic way that someone can harm you too. And not just harm you, many people. This paperwork trick, you could be a racist, right? And you say, well, I'm going to do this to all the white people, or I'm going to do this to all the black people. This paperwork trick is also institutionalized in some agencies, such as the welfare system. Okay. Um, any system where it's free stuff given away, sign this and just sign this today. We'll give you a couple of cookies and sign this and say that you no longer need cash assistance for the next 10 years. Sign right there. We're going to give you two cookies though. Hopefully you can survive off these two cookies. But just sign here and say that you do not need any welfare benefits for 10 years. I'm thinking of another case, the Anna Nicole Smith case. Her case involved sort of a paperwork trick. However, the people that made sure Anna Nicole Smith was unalived, they were able to conquer the paperwork trick by unaliving her. Anna Nicole Smith, she put something in her will stating how her monies would be released to potential children that she would have later or children that wasn't born in some kind of way. I remember studying this case when I was in college many years ago. I did a report on it, or an essay, when I was in college. And I won't remember all the details, but her own paperwork trick, Anna Nicole Smith, she tried to legally protect herself as much as possible. So her and her lawyer at that time, they did a paperwork trick together in an attempt to trick people in her future. But other evil people figured out how to get around her paperwork trick, because the paperwork trick that Anna Nicole Smith had put together in her will, it was to protect her from almost being killed. But her enemies and their lawyers figured it out. So to get what they wanted, all they had to do was unalive Anna Nicole Smith, make sure that it was notated who the biological father was of her daughter, and prove it, and make sure that her daughter ended up with that particular person, and they got all of her money. They sure did. But you got to be careful with that too. Doing a paperwork trick that somebody else is clever enough to figure out, and it backfires on you. So Anna Nicole Smith, she basically got tricked by her own paperwork, because somebody else figured out, I don't need paperwork to trick Anna Nicole Smith. All I got to do is kill her and have some new paperwork that's saying she is now deceased. And this little girl is underage. So that would be an extreme example of how a paperwork trick can literally turn deadly. So keep that in mind too. In rare circumstances, paperwork tricks can turn deadly. I hope this was very helpful. Thank you so much, y'all, for liking the short. That's actually a good idea. Maybe I could do that more often. Upload a short. Shorts are now on YouTube, 3 minutes and under, and just see if people want to hear more about it. So thank you, Danielson, for recommending that I do a video about this. I'll send you a small cash amount through your app that you use. So I'll send you a little cash through your app, Daniel. And thank you so much for the video suggestion. And hopefully this makes sense. So the paperwork trick, y'all, this is more on the paperwork trick. And Afin Shah, I'll be praying for you over in Pakistan. And I'm sorry that you're going through that. I really am. But even in that kind of situation, be careful signing paperwork when you're in somewhat of a war. So someone else says, hello, Sharaf Nadu. Hello, Sharaf Nadu. Thank you so much for the comment. Hello to you too. Please click a like and subscribe. And I upload here pretty often. So yeah, please like, share, and subscribe. And Afin Shah, again, I love you. And I'm sorry that you and your family and yourself are having to go through this hard time over in Pakistan. May the One Most High do more to protect you, and just stay calm. When you scared, the worst thing you could do when you scared, I know this for a fact. Everybody listen to this. When you scared, stay calm. Because getting in like getting overwhelmed with anxiety and getting upset will backfire when you're scared. So you want to try to just stay calm. That's the best thing you could do. Never with the paperwork trick. Another thing, don't let someone make you sign paperwork. If you're signing paperwork and you feel a heavy amount of fear when you're signing it, it's probably best that you consult someone before signing it. Also, the paperwork trick as well will be done on people that are incarcerated. So what I suggest for people that are incarcerated, whether they be in jail or in prison, and if you're in just jail, especially, and you're not being sent to prison, it's usually no need to fill out or sign all documents. When you're incarcerated, if you can, have someone from the outside that you can, a family member, good friend, power of attorney that you could refer the lawyers and people to say, to kind of stall them out, right? No, I'm not going to sign that. But call my mother, my grandmother, my power of attorney, call my other lawyer, call my advocate. I highly recommend in cases of incarceration, it is best not to sign paperwork, especially signing convictions. Okay. The safest time to sign a conviction is when you're in front of a judge. It is not a good idea to sign an actual conviction where you're saying, yes, I agree that I'm going to be a felon on that, and I'll take a misdemeanor on that. The paperwork trick, only sign that you're agreeing to a conviction in front of a judge. Only do it then. Never do a jailhouse signature with an attorney at the jail and you have not seen a judge. And this is why a judge will explain more of your rights, and a judge may protect you as well. So, in those cases, never sign the paperwork. Never sign a conviction when you in jail and you ain't made it to court or you're not in court. Criminal convictions, when you are in jail, you are incarcerated, even in prison. Only sign it in the courtroom on your hearing date or your trial date. That's the only time. And usually your hearing date. It's going to be a hearing if you're doing a plea deal. Don't sign it when you're not in court. Tell them I can't sign it. If you get a hearing for me, I'll consider signing it. And don't sign it just because they say, if you're willing to sign that you willing to admit to these 5 felonies or misdemeanors, I'll let you out of jail today. Never sign convictions when you are incarcerated because a lawyer is telling you you're going to be let out by 5 p.m. Never do it. Only sign convictions when you are incarcerated or sign plea deals in front of a judge. This is something that a lawyer may not even tell you. I'm a lady. I don't have any criminal convictions. I don't have any felonies or misdemeanors. I never had a conviction. Now, I ain't saying I never been in no trouble. I'm not saying that. I never had a conviction. Because, see, I follow my own rules. I'm telling you what to follow. So it minimizes your convictions. Okay? And don't sign convictions for certain things. I'll give you an example. It's 2 convictions I will never sign. I will never sign it. I don't care what they show me. I don't care if they show me a camera. I don't care if they got a fingerprint on me. It's 2 convictions I'll never sign, whether it be a felony conviction or a misdemeanor. And these are the 2 convictions I'll never sign. A conviction saying that I'm an abuser and I committed domestic violence. I will never sign that. And I don't have to sign that because I'm not a domestic violence abuser. If somebody got jumped on or hurt, I will be able to explain what they doing to me. I will explain why they on the ground. Because I don't just go around knocking people on the ground. So domestic violence, I don't sign convictions for that. And another thing I will never sign is a theft. I will never sign anything saying I beat up people or I steal. And one reason I don't have to sign those things is I avoid doing those things. Okay, it's best to start there. Just don't do it in the first place. But even if I was accused, and I won't sign those things because, for one, even a juvenile theft misdemeanor conviction, oh my goodness, I've worked in the food industry, customer service for many years, ran several cash registers. And one thing I'll tell you is they will not put you on the cash register. You could have a misdemeanor theft and you was 14 years old and a juvenile. If that comes up on your record, you will never be able to handle money. It's really bad. And domestic violence convictions, oh my goodness. Every job is scared of you. See, with those type of convictions, theft, in domestic violence, you almost got to start your own company. You got to become self-employed and become some kind of contractor, because with those type of convictions, another bad one is, of course, anything with the essay on it. That's a real bad one too. Okay. So, but yeah, so this is just more on the paperwork trick, y'all, and giving you some legal suggestions. Of course, I'm not a lawyer, but I am someone that doesn't have any convictions on me. And it's not because I'm such a perfect angel. I'm inherently good natured and I'm obeying the law and I'm teaching my family to obey the law. However, regardless, it's just certain things I will not sign. So hopefully this helps. And I gave some good incarceration examples as well. Oh, another case, another paperwork trick, never to fall for. This is another paperwork trick. If you are in a situation, say you spend a weekend in jail, and a judge advises you that this attorney is not no good. It's a public defender helping you for an arraignment. If you're advised to get rid of that attorney, do not sign any paperwork saying you're dismissing that attorney. And this is why. If you sign a paperwork saying you're dismissing the attorney, that public defense office can a lot of times dismiss you from the entire public defense, that particular public defense firm or organization. So if you got to say, I don't want your help, I'll speak for myself. And that attorney says, well, can you sign this saying that you are releasing me from your case? Don't sign it. And the reason why is so you're not dismissed from that public defense organization. Because in those cases, I was actually in a situation similar to that one time in my life. And if I would have signed it, I would have never been able to use the best public defense organization in the state that I'm in. So I did not sign it. And when that particular attorney was asking me to sign it, the judge was shaking her head no. So when a judge is shaking their head no, go with the judge. Don't sign it. Don't sign it. And so, because what's happening in a situation like that, that's a paperwork trick as well. That attorney is pissed off because you're dismissing them from representing you at a arraignment hearing potentially, right? So what that lawyer that you're dismissing that's angry with you because you're doing it, they know that if you sign that paperwork, that no one else in that organization, that public defense organization, can ever help you. And this will be for life. Just because you signed that paper, that's a paperwork trick too. That actually happened to me as well. So I'm glad I did this video because I've been tricked, gosh, more than once, but I didn't sign. This video is to help you not put your signature on it. I'm preventing you and helping you from mastering the paperwork trick. And how you master it is through taking my suggestions and not signing it. It's not in your best interest. Anyone that's tricking you to sign some paperwork, they do not mean you well. They are a narcissist. Your future can and will become a living hell for you and your family and friends. Once you fall for the paperwork trick and you sign it, it's very, very hard to get out of the situation, you may never get out of it. I'm going to find that video of that young teenage girl that was tricked at 15 years old. I'll find that video and put it down in the description box. Give me up to an hour to find it. So, check the description box within 30 minutes to an hour. So give me a little time to find it. And of course, I will be putting this video under passive aggressive language. Danielson, I'll give you a tip for the video suggestion. Thank you so much for suggesting that I do more about this paperwork trick video, and more on the paperwork trick, y'all. So be very, very careful with the paperwork trick. Thank you so much, YouTube, for allowing me to continue to upload. And thank you, YouTube, for deeming me credible to do lives now. That's like a promotion on YouTube, y'all. When YouTube decides you can do lives on your channel. I appreciate the platform. Thank you to everyone that stays subscribed. Thank you to the subscriber and subscribers that subscribe today. I try to make this a fun, humorous, and educational place, and a spiritual place for you to go. So tune in for more right here with Advanced Insight. I have enough video ideas to last to the end of time. If YouTube was a permanent platform, I have enough video ideas to last until eternity. I have video ideas to last until eternity, y'all. I really do. So please like, share, and subscribe. Tune in for more right here with Advanced Insight channel. More on the paperwork trick, y'all. More on the paperwork trick. Don't sign it. It's a trick. It works against you. It will not work in your favor. Once you fall for the paperwork trick, it can sometimes be almost impossible to free yourself from. You ever heard of that old saying? You signed your life away? That's what the paperwork trick is doing. Remember, all paperwork is stored somewhere in someone's file and can and will be used against you in your future and in your current life at any time. The paperwork trick, knowing about the paperwork trick, is very essential to your lifestyle, and I feel it's something you need to know. I've mastered the paperwork trick my entire life. However, I am repeatedly and continuously tricked here and there, but I master it. Don't sign it. Stop following orders when people are saying you have to sign right there. That's a red flag and a black flag. Please like, share, and subscribe. And again, Daniel, thank you for encouraging me to do this video and to continue to do videos. I love you, Daniel. Can't wait to see you later, Isaiah. I love you. Thanks for your hard work as well. Isaiah has really mastered in the area of employment, and I appreciate Isaiah. Thank you so much, Daniel and Isaiah, and I'll continue to pray for all of my children. Thank you. Bye. Tune in for more right here with the Advanced Insight channel. Thank you. Bye.